We're going over some Commander Overperformers.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, joined by Amber, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, bringing you daily videos, all thanks to our patrons and our generous patrons like Closet Dobby make this entire operation possible. This is our full-time job. It's because of people like you, so you can go and support us directly on Patreon with your actual dollars.
Yes, and when you support us with dollars, you make us not to do ads for crappy mobile games, but we will still do ads for things you believe in, like IntoTheAM. Seriously, their shirts are amazing, they're comfortable, and they're extremely stylish. They've actually got some new designs in the store as of lately, and some of our favorites are. We got to tell you what the awesome names are. This is Castle on a Skull in Space with Candle Eyes.
Very long name. I like Dancy Skellies.
Dancy Skellies. They compacted that name a lot.
Yeah.
But very stylish shirt. We also have main character energy Owl here.
He's part of something.
Yes,
he's part of something.
He's definitely part of a TV show.
I don't know what's going on, but we also have Desert Window, which is a classic.
And these go along with tons and tons of other amazing and awesome designs. Something IntoTheAM has that other places don't. 1, comfortable shirts. Not every place has comfortable shirts. 2, designs like no other. These designs literally are unmatched by any other website out there.
You're going to stand out. And we've gotten way more compliments than I thought we would have gotten on our shirts. Yes. Unprompted.
Yes. Thank you, IntoTheAM, for making us stylish.
If you use our link, you get 10% off. You're saving real dollars.
Real dollar bills. You save real money, and guess what? This channel is directly supported by the money you're saving.
And directly supported by Moxfield, our sponsor. There's an ad somewhere. Guess it. You're wrong. Happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is today.
All right, let's get into this video. We'll talk about Overperformers, a series we put on hiatus for a little bit because we wanted to get cards, wanted to see it more.
We're not just checking boxes. We want to genuinely get cards we think are, whoa, these are always playing better than they look.
Exactly, because we could easily just make these videos every month and just say these look like they're overperforming. But what we want
this month, Soul Ring.
Yeah, what we want is cards that actually we see that are overperforming our standards. So let's just get into it. The first one is a card that we praise a lot and we are high on already, but it's Blind Obedience. And it is always shocking to me how relevant creatures entering the battlefield tapped truly is.
There's always somebody wanting to spam haste creatures or get the value out of it, and then like the rest of the players like kind of don't care as much, so they don't remove it. So then it's harder for that one player to remove it, and then they're just like in super trouble. And then you're always going to take the extort whenever you can.
Yeah, exactly, because the life swing on extort is huge. Every single extort in a 4-player game.
One is huge, but in general.
Well, think about this. Every single one extort is a 6-point life swing.
It's real good. It adds up like very fast.
Exactly. So if you do it twice, that's a 12-point life swing. Yes, it's small increments each, but it is a lot when you actually think about it.
Yeah, I wonder, does scale with the number of players in your group, so we could do a video on like best cards for 3-player games, best cards for 5-player games.
Yes.
Every extort card.
Hilariously, before we move on from this card and how much we love it, we were playing Commander Cube and we had a 6-player game. Oh, one of my
Too many players.
Well, one of my top picks was the 2-mana 2/2 with extort.
Yep, just a Syndic of Tides.
Syndic of Tides.
And Blind Obedience is like 50 times better, so you should be playing it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, way better.
Yeah, next, this is like a one-sided board wipe over and over and over every time it's in play, and if it doesn't die, you can't beat it. It's Archfiend of Ifnir in the badness/discard happy decks.
Yes, any deck that is able to consistently discard cards for whatever reason, maybe it's a looting deck, anything along those lines, Archfiend of Ifnir is an absolute monster.
Yeah, I've been playing Oscar, and it's like the best card in that entire deck. It's won me countless games, and our friend's been playing Anya, and it's the best card in his deck.
Yeah, and the thing that tends to happen with this card is not that it's the first time it's out, it's really annoying. It demands an answer, and it kills all the small things at least, and if it stays around, it wipes the whole board. But then all these decks that are playing Archfiend of Ifnir can bring it back, because your graveyard-centric deck, when you're playing a deck designed to discard your hand over and over again, well, you're going to play cards that bring those cards back from your graveyard to your hand.
It's kind of like build your own Toxrill that flies.
It's even better than Toxrill in the decks it's good in, because Toxrill's great. It's an amazing magic card. I'm not going to talk down about Toxrill, but in the Archfiend is good in the deck. It plays better than Toxrill. It costs 5 mana and flies, and is way quicker at wiping the board.
And it has cycling in case you don't want it.
Such a silly card.
This card, it's so good that people that we've played against have said it's like actually unfun to play against.
Yes, I am in that group. It is unfun at times to play against Archfiend of Ifnir.
But we're going to go to the next card, which is slightly more fun to play against. It's Carter Doomscourge. This guy's really tricky. He doesn't look like he does anything, and he kind of doesn't after he enters. It just makes a one-time deal. Everybody's got to attack someone who's not you, and then when creatures die that are attacking, you get a little drain.
This is the absolute best version of this effect they've ever printed. So we have like we have lots of ways to go. We have what is it? Decorum, what is that?
Disrupt Decorum.
Disrupt Decorum, which I think is not that good. I tried playing it. It's not that. I think it's not that good of a card. Carter goes above and beyond. One thing it's a creature for starters. Wow, okay. We have exactly Disrupt Decorum, but now it's on a creature. That's an ETB. You can flicker it, do it over and over and over again. On top of all that, now when attacking creatures die, there's just a bonus drain going out. This card is stellar.
But the tricky part is it just says creatures have to attack. It's not like the creatures in play have to attack. Any creatures. So if they play new creatures with haste or whatever, or creatures that could attack, as soon as they come out, they just have to do that, even though they weren't around when Carter came down.
Yeah, it's super strange because Carter just doesn't care what was on the battlefield when he entered. He cares when the attack phase comes around what's going to be attacking.
So it basically means you can't die to combat. You're not going to die to combat because they cannot attack you no matter what. It's just not happening.
And the next absolute banger of an overperformer is Moxfield.com, the best deck building website on the entire internet. Seriously, all of our decks are on there. All of our new decks, all of our retired decks, all of our budget decks, all of our decks for Shuffle Scuffle, which is coming back sometime. Actually, it's already back.
Yeah, it's already been back.
It's been back, yeah.
Hope you liked it.
Watch that episode. Go watch that episode of Shuffle Scuffle, and then check out all of our decks on Moxfield for that.
It's just so easy to look through. That's how you go and find the overperformers. It takes 5 minutes with Moxfield. It takes 50 minutes with Redacted Other Site.
Exactly. Redacted Other Site sucks. Moxfield is awesome.
Definitely.
Up next is a card we've mentioned before on the channel, but definitely hyped on it now, and it's Escape to the Wild. It's 5 mana, exile the top 5 cards of your library, and you can play an additional land. You can play those cards until your next turn. This card is strong. It is a 5 mana, draw 5 essentially. The extra land drop really locks it in, so you're not going to be missing out on more than one card usually.
Yeah, if you play this on turn 6, you're going to get 2 lands off of it, and you can't really get, it's like, oh, I got 3 lands. Okay, great. Play the other one next turn. You could get really screwed and have 4 lands, but then you're still drawing 2 lands now, 1 land next turn, and then a card. It's like, how mad can you be at that? This thing is really, really close to 5 mana, draw 5. It's like one of the stapliest, best green-red budget cards ever. You just play it in everything, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a super staple of the budget decks, and I think if you have any synergy with it, which isn't a ton of decks, but it's one of the best card advantage engines you can really get in red-green.
Yeah, I'm starting to look at this as more of like a staple and not so much like, oh, I'm playing Landfall or Play from Exile. It's kind of like, this is just a really good card.
I meant the opposite of Vengeance. I meant it's the best one-time draw you can get in red-green.
Burst.
It's the best, one of the best bursts in red-green. All right, up next is the Meat Hook Massacre, a card that we definitely underestimated when it first came out. We thought it was okay, pretty good, but I just think this card is so annoying every time it hits the battlefield. It not only gets something when it enters and wipes away certain amounts of creatures, it also becomes a must-answer threat that is just an enchantment version of your Zulaport Cutthroat type effects.
It just sticks around, and it's annoying, and you're like, really? This thing already killed my creatures, and now I have to kill my opponent's board wipe, or I'm going to give my opponent life, and I'm going to lose life?
Exactly, and that's exactly the point. They already get their value out of it. Right away, it enters, and it does something. Now you have to kill it afterward, meaning they're just going to get more card advantage out of a card that already got them a ton of card advantage.
Yeah, the reason we were down on this when it came out, I remember, is because this isn't like a board wipe. It is not a straight board wipe. Oftentimes you can't kill every creature, but what we kind of missed was the absurdity of the other abilities being so good. Like, especially when your opponent's creatures die, gain a life, it just gives you so much time that this doesn't need to be a board wipe. It can just be -4 or something.
Yeah, actually, something very interesting about this card is that, we have a ton of the drain effects when your creatures die. That's very normal. Like, I don't think that's what pushes this card. I think you're right. I think it is the life gain. I think the fact that all of your creatures, your opponent's creatures dying, gain you life is over the top, keeps you alive.
When you cast this, gain 15 life or something.
Which is super silly, and it sticks around. It keeps doing it.
Really good card. Next, I don't think we've talked about this card since the set came out, and we gave it a D.
We were too low on this card, 100%.
Yeah, this is Wizards of They. It's got a myriad, and it makes your instant sorceries cost 1 less, and it goes ahead and gives sorceries flash. And every time I attack with this card, I cast like 7 spells. It's just like a big party. You just chain draw spells over and over.
Yeah, exactly. This is a creature in your spells deck. You have to limit those down, obviously, but it seems to overperform every single time. When I first saw this card, I'm like, it's just another one of those creatures in your spell deck. It's not going to make the cut. Super low on it. And then BZ just started attacking with it. It's like, well, we can't let BZ attack a Wizard of They. The card just pops off every time.
Yeah, we were also worried. We were like, oh, this thing isn't going to be able to get through. It's a 3/3. And then there's board states where I'm like, I don't care if it dies. I'm going to cast 7 spells.
It just doesn't matter. The fact that all your spells cost 3 less in combat, your sorceries have flash, you get to cast whatever you want out of your hand. The card shocking, absolutely shocking to me. I mean, if this could also be in a one of our other videos, cards we got wrong, because we were way off on this card, like missed it, but oh my god.
Yeah, if you're looking for special combos, really good with Deep Analysis and Chemist's Insight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just anything that already has 3 pips.
Factor Fiction.
Yeah, Factor Fiction. I'm thinking, what is it, Mystic Confluence. It has 3 pips.
I guess so, yeah. By pips, you mean not 3 pips.
Yeah, not 3 pips. Anything that has a generic 3.
Yeah, generic 3. It's just going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Another card I've gotten to play alongside Wizards of They that serves as basically kind of like a red overwhelming Stampede type effect, where it's like, okay, this is just so much power and toughness we don't have to count. It's Haze of Rage. Buyback plus Storm and giving all your creatures +1/+0 just gets really out of hand. You can cast, 2 kind of throwaway spells, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, 4 mana, they get +3/+0, bring it back. Oh, I got 4 more mana. Great. Well, now they're going to get I said 3. Now they're going to get +4/+0. And now they have +7/+0.
And that's every single creature you have is getting pumped that much. And the card's back in your hand. And if you have enough cost reductions, it can just cost, pips. Literally
you mean,
only the pips.
Attacking with Wizards of They?
Yeah.
It just does it?
Like, super silly card. Like, it just ends up being so over the top and ridiculous. Like you said, the numbers aren't 1, 2, 3. No, they're like 7.
You start at 5.
They're like 7, 13, 18. Just numbers that are absolutely absurd, and obviously the game is over.
Yeah, and it doesn't even look like with this card. Obviously, it's a sorcery. It's not a creature. It doesn't look like you have much going on. You could attack with 10 1/1 tokens and then like Wizards of They and coming at everybody. They don't block, or they do block, and you're just like all of a sudden every red pip is like exponential amounts of damage.
It's silly, so silly. I mean, this card, I was always like, whatever. This card seems fine. It is a cool combination of abilities, but like, it has absolutely been like one of the big game winners in your budget. What is the commander?
Belmore.
I can never remember that thing's name. Budget Belmore. Haze of Rage has run us over.
Plus, Belmore gives trample, so extra good.
Super extra good. Next are 2 cards that we're usually pretty low on. It's Lord of Extinction / Consuming Aberration, and I've just noticed that when you care about its power and toughness in any zone and you're actually taking advantage of this thing, these cards get really silly really fast. Now, I don't want to just play them as creatures out in the battlefield. They're kind of meh for that. Maybe if you have enough ways to sneak them through, they can be okay in that situation. They're usually just going to get chump blocked. Where I love them is something like the Mimeoplasm. The Mimeoplasm that checks what their power toughness is in the graveyard so it can get counters from it. Or in something, if you're playing the Greater Good, then you sacrifice it to draw equal to its power. Then it's silly. These cards can get very silly very quick. I just don't like them as vanilla creatures that are designed to attack.
Yeah, Gerard really loves Lord of Extinction. That's basically just game over right there. And then you can even like Ninjutsu Consuming Aberration with like Satoru. It's like, surprise, take 35. I did the hard part, which is tap with this thing. You don't have to. It's coming into tap and attacking and actually connect.
Yeah, in a similar vein of Haze of Rage, the numbers just get so ridiculous that you stop. It's like what is the number of that? Does it matter? It's a one shot. Like I stopped keeping track because this says if this hits you, you die now.
Yeah, it's weird because like on the board of 5 mana 30/30 is like It's just like so medium. Like if it was a card that you couldn't give evasion, I was like probably not playing that. But these. Obviously, you can give them evasion, but they have way more words on them, and the stars really help you out, and it's just a big number.
Also, another random commander that likes it, Varal's. Varal's just wants to scavenge from the graveyard for a bajillion counters.
There's just a lot of different little things you can do with a 50/50.
Find your commander that cares about something that cares about a 50/50 for 5.
Now, how about Selvala? If that's not going to be your commander, but it'll be in the decks.
Yeah, Selvala also just cares about what the power of your creature is. Just actually make 50 mana. Like, literally.
Yes.
Not just like, oh yeah, I'm going to make 50 mana, like over-exaggerating, haha, funny. No, I literally make 50 mana.
So I'll make 30 blue, 10 green, and 10 black. Like, I have 50.
Yes. And next we have a 3-color commander, but doesn't matter where you play this card. It is a house. Jetmir, Nexus of Revels. I put it in my command zone, and I took apart the deck because it was so stupid good.
It was so linear. It was like, the problem was, you're like, oh, a cool commander. I'm gonna play Jetmir and build around him. Jetmir is in play during commander games for about 7 seconds total. Even whether you win or lose, it doesn't matter. He either sticks and you win immediately, or he sticks and dies before combat damage is dealt and you don't win.
Yes, he just pumps the numbers up so much. All your creatures get +3/+0 vigilance, trample, double strike. Whoa! And obviously that's when you have 9, but you don't play them. until you have 9. You just wait until your board is so wide, then you place essentially all your creatures get an extra 6 power.
It's definitely Haze of Rage, maybe almost like mini Craterhoof levels. Just you have so much damage out of nowhere, you don't have to count a lot of the time.
If all your creatures are 0 ones, they have 6 power.
Yeah.
And then any other power, that if they had 1 power, they also get an additional power on top of that. Because why wouldn't this card just be the silliest math card to ever do?
Yeah, secretly unfun. Jetmir Nexus of Revels. He looks like a fun guy. He likes having parties, but
no, he looks like a fat cat.
Pretty brutal.
A literal fat cat.
A literal fat cat. How about Sarkhan's Unsealing? It's like ping something for 4 when you cast a kind of big creature, but when you cast a really big creature, all of a sudden it Mizzium Mortars everything and then deals 4 to all your opponents.
Yes, this card is a must answer. I think it's better in budget games and in lower power games, but still, the card is just shockingly good. It's so annoying. It gets you value. And it does the thing, and then it's still around. And then it can do it again if you don't get rid of this thing.
Yeah, it's really spooky. And nowadays, there's lots of really big creatures that you can cast for no mana. I'm thinking Galta, Primeval Protector, and now we got the Bio Titan that costs green if you have counters. And all 3 of those, you can go Sarkhan's Unsealing, play it, get a one-sided, mostly board wipe, go. You still have to answer both of these things.
Yeah, exactly. And I love Sarkhan's Unsealing specifically if your commander has 7 power. Extra Gravy makes this card so much better because now you're guaranteeing that you can just go, okay, slam my commander, trigger the best mode on the card.
Yeah, I said right before this, Sarkhan's Unsealing is the red Archfiend of Ifnir.
The red, yeah, in a way, yeah. I think Archfiend of Ifnir is ridiculously over. Is higher on my scale of God, that card is amazing. But Sarkhan's Unsealing, really good, especially on a budget.
Right, and I know what you're saying. You're looking for more Overperformers. You want to stack your deck and win more games. Well, guess what? There's a whole other video that you need to watch right now because it's got more Overperformers on it.
Peace out, Tribe Scout.